see you on the other side.
Hey guys, Camrock23 here, and today I'm just going to be giving you some information on one of my favorite things, EDM. Now, I'm going to be reading off of my phone because my memory is, okay, it's really bad. I'm doing this because it's for a high school project. I'm going to finish this up, and, you know, hey, I thought, why not share it with everybody else on YouTube, Okay, so first things first. I got into EDM when I was in the 7th grade. I didn't really think of it much because I was more into rock and punk rock and all and metal and all that. But then one artist in particular made me think, wow, EDM was something special. And it was Deadmau5, by the way, with his song Ghost and stuff. It was something about the beat and the rhythm that swayed me into deep trance. Also another genre of EDM. And the rest was history. Okay, so EDM is a generic term created mainly by US industry to classify electronic dance music, which is by itself a term that covers all genres and subgenres in electronic music. In the late 1950s in London, the term rave was used to describe wild bohemian parties of the Soho beatnik set. With the rapid change of British pop culture from the mob era of 1963 to 1966 to the hippie era of 1967 and beyond, the term fell out of popular usage. During the 1970s and early 1980s until its resurrection, the term was not very popular. In the mid to late 1980s, a wave of psychedelic and other electronic dance music, most notably acid house music and techno, emerged and caught on in the clubs, warehouses, and free parties, first in Manchester in the mid-1980s, and then later on in London. In 1988, London suddenly adopted this scene and rebranded it, so records which a week earlier had been house records were suddenly acid house music, and smiley badges and other marketing paraphernalia became involved. These early raves were called acid house parties. British politicians responded with hostility to the emerging rave party trend. Politicians spoke out against raves and began to fine anyone who held unauthorized parties. Police cracked down on these often unauthorized parties and drove the scene into the countryside, meaning they would have to go a long ways just to party. It's sad, really. The word rave somehow caught on in the UK to describe common semi-spontaneous weekend parties occurring at various locations linked by the brand new M25 London Orbital motorway that ringed London and the home counties. It was this that gave the band Orbital their name. These ranged from former warehouses and industrial sites in London to fields and country clubs in the countryside. The illegal free party scene also reached its max point for that time after a particularly large festival, when many individual sound systems such as Bedlam, Circus Warp, DIY, and Spiral Tribe set up near Castle Mortar Common. In May 1992, the government acted. Under the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act 1994, the definition of music played at a rave was given. Sections 63, 64, and 65 of the Act targeted electronic dance music played at raves. The Criminal Justice and Public Order Act empowered police to stop a rave in the open air when 100 or more people are attending, or where 2 or more are making preparations for a rave. Meaning, if you even look like you're about to go jam, nah, you go to jail. Illegal raves have continued throughout the UK to this day, and unlicensed parties have been organized in venues, including warehouses and condemned nightclubs. The rise of the internet has both helped and hindered the cause, with much wider and more accessible communication, resulting in bigger parties, but consequently increasing the risk of police involvement. As time grew on and EDM grew more popular, people have just given up the fight against EDM. Now they just let it happen. There's festivals all over the place about it. You know, you can't go on the internet and not see somebody like let's say Vindictive or Skrillex or Deadmau5 or Diplo or Jack U. You can't go on the internet without seeing their promotions. Anyway, so who uses EDM?
We do.
Anyway, EDM has become so popular that mainstream artists use it to get a boost in their music sales when they notice it's dropping. Some artists use it because they also like EDM a lot and want it to keep growing at the rate it is. One example would be one of the most mainstream EDM artists, Skrillex, with his hit album Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. That gave him a major boost in popularity, and then another hit, Bang Bang. He made a track with The Doors called Breaking a Sweat. By the way, The Doors is back. Another one would be Flux Pavilion's collab with Childish Gambino called Do or Die, which is one of my favorites, I'm not even gonna lie. Everyone wants a piece of EDM. Eventually everyone will have EDM in their own track, whether it be trap, house, dubstep. It's always going to be around. EDM is used to be classified as music you would just take mass amounts of drugs to, but in reality it's not. It's just what people saw it as, due to its stereotype and bad reputation at the time. Taking acid while jamming to a repetitive kick and snare throughout the years, it's been getting better reputation, but still there's a majority that think it's all about the drugs. But yet again, it's not. You know, it's just for everyone's amusement. Thanks. No problem. Also, what's wrong with him? Who's the first person to put the alphabet in alphabetical order? He just got back from a really good party. But the problem is, well, moral of the story is don't eat everything that people give you. So. Okay.